2001. What?
The lost files.
How do I find anything?
So I'm making coffee, and essentially the weather's going to be excellent today, and I'm watching Rob Bailey fucking lose his mind trying to find his high school records on a website about how fast he ran. God damn it. So, awesome day ahead. Got coffee. Just finished up about 15 minutes of movement. Trying to hold that standard, man. That's fucking 10 days. Gonna do something for my body, do something for myself. You know, I've spent decades, right, beating on my fucking body to get the most out of it. Hitting with a stick, hitting it with weights. Let's see how it responds to me being nice to it. How does it respond to me treating it well, doing some movement, doing lifting that's going to be a little bit more restorative and a little bit less straight performance based. And look, these are realities that you get to do because I'm not competing anymore. If you're trying to be a top tier athlete and best in the world at something, there are sacrifices you're going to make to the body to get to wring out like all those last little bits of performance and where you can go. So different mentality, different goals.
Bunches and bunches, punches is thrown into your frontless. Oodles and noodles, bang bullets at suckers' noodles. Last album voodoo, proved that we was fucking brutal. I'm talking crazy, half past the clock is cuckoo. You rappers
now into Cal State Fullerton. Gonna go meet up with Dr. Andy Gallup and interview him for the UMSO podcast. Talk to him about their new book, Unplugged. I've been reading through that, and I think there's a lot of interesting concepts and some misuse of tools that people fuck up, like with smartwatches and phones and things like this, like activity trackers. We're going to get into some of that and some of the other cool stuff that guy is up to. I need to go buy some fucking shoes because my shit's all wet. I tried to handle just having wet shoes and I couldn't do it. I'll show you them kicks when I get out of the car, though.
when they put me in a coffin.
Earlier, the ocean decided to wet my shoes. Super sweet. And since I didn't pack a big variety of footwear this trip other than my Vans, I was going to be walking around basically the rest of the trip with wet shoes. And couldn't do it. I tried to make like half a day, but I got some new kicks. So let me show you those. I got a pair of Adidas NMDs. Picked up a second pair. And I'm a crazy person in the parking lot talking to a camera. I'm at Cal State Fullerton right now, getting ready to go interview Dr. Andy Gallup. Should be a cool podcast. So I picked up these and reviews, really comfy. Them gum soles, dawg. Fresh kicks, man. Go well with my barbell apparel jeans. Style for days, son. I also picked up a crazy pair. They're gonna be Arnold fresh.
I probably smell like a pound when they put me in a coffin.
There's your fashion minute with Matt Vincent. I got 2 pair of Adidas. What? All right, now I gotta go see Andy.
It took for me to get exposed to guys like Brian McKenzie to go, oh, you know what? He probably has a point when he says things like, you know, most human beings should have the physical capacity to jog for 30 minutes. Like, what do you mean? Heresy, Brian. Heresy.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna be a good weightlifter jogging for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Like, I jogged for 30 minutes and I was out of gas, and the day after, my feet are broken to hell, and my knee hurts, and my back hurts. Well, that's probably a real big, I mean, Kelly says this all the time, like, you're a fucking liability.
You're a fucking liability.
Like, you're a fucking liability.
Right.
You can't ride a bicycle for an hour. You're a goddamn liability. You can't do all these things. And once that started hitting my mind, I'm like, ooh, you know what? They're right. If I want to really do this thing well, and this thing by being like a human and live well, probably maximizing my snatch is not the thing that's going to make me live well when I'm 90.
No.
If I can't do all these other things, if I can't stand for 12 minutes without my back hurting or my feet hurting,
right?
Okay, now we really have problems.
So that was getting to chat with Dr. Andy Gallup. So that's episode 13 on So Podcast. Check that out. I've got the link below. Really enjoyed getting to talk to him. You know, he and Brian McKenzie wrote a book called Unplugged, and I've been kind of plowing through it. And it's interesting to see, right? Like, you know, talking about people that get addicted to using their phone and these other things as kind of fitness trackers and these ideas of all that, instead of it just being a tool to use. Whereas they kind of let the device dictate what they're doing and then have a lot of emotional investment in what that device is telling them that they need to do or have done or haven't done, right? Check out the book, pick it up. I think it's a really good tool. I think it's a great perspective on things from a lot of great people. Andy Gallup, Brian McKenzie, Laird Hamilton's got some parts in it. I think Kelly Starrett's also in it. So it's a lot of folks in my world. Yeah, Andy's one of those that I think I didn't know personally before we sat down and talked, and I was really stoked at how well that conversation went. I'm really enjoying doing the podcast, like getting out and meeting people and holding these conversations. And I've got some other stuff coming up in the future that I'm also stoked on. Also announced yesterday, the first of the Matt and Friends seminar tour. So what this is we're going to do free seminars. They're going to be about 4 or 5 hours long. We're going to, you know, I'll speak, a special guest will speak. Every one of them is going to have a special guest. So wherever I'm at, I will have a different person. Some of them will be a surprise, some won't. Have a special guest, and we're going to talk and you know, share kind of some insights to where we are with our training and where we are in our lives and how strength has been a big part of it and all these type of things. And then we will probably do some form of training and walk around and interact, coach as need be, but it's not going to be like, come in and we're going to teach you how to deadlift. I don't want to do that. Like there's enough people doing it, and I'd rather talk to you about why training has always been important to me, why a stronger life is a better one, why throwing is something I really like, why you should be doing a little of it. Those type of things, and what's worked, you know, from business to strength to all these other things, right? Like we just want to talk about the life that's come from us deciding to pick up a barbell. So the very first one is going to be March 10th in Chicago at the Strength Agenda Gym. Thanks Tom Soroka for having us. And it'll be myself and Ed Cohn. Pretty pumped on that, like 12 to 4 p.m. There's no way to register. Show up. The Strength Agenda Gym. I'll be putting out more information on this, but it's going to be in Chicago with myself and Ed Cohn, March 10th, 12 to 4 p.m. You show up, we'll provide. That's really it. You know, I've had so much information shared with me for free for me just showing up somewhere and talking to people. So that's what we want to do. You show up, I'll invest in you. I'll invest my time, I'll invest my energy, and give you one-on-one the best I can with that information. So I hope that's something you dig. I hope that you guys are going to be part of it, and we're going to be doing more of those. But for the meantime, check out the So Podcast with Andy Gallup. Hope you guys have a great day. Spread hate, always party.